Today, I'll share with you the exact strategy that I'll use in 2024 to grow my net worth at the speed of the light. In this video, you'll discover what is my investment plan for my stock, ETF, and crypto portfolio, as well as for my real estate property and my business projects. But before to see what is my investment plan for the new year, we need to understand what is the current situation on the different markets and what could happen throughout 2024. If we come back to last year, we've seen that 2023 has been a quite tumultuous year for many investors on the stock market. Indeed, we've seen that the stock market has reached new heights. We've also seen the beginning of a potential bull run for the crypto market, but the numerous hikes of the interest rates that have started in 2022 have been highly impacting the real estate market. Indeed, following 2 years of blistering inflation and aggressive hikes of the interest rates by the Fed and the Bank of Canada, we've seen that the R word has been in the mind of many investors that were concerned over the last couple of months. But fortunately, a recession hasn't materialized throughout that period, where we are now expect to have a so-called soft landing for the next couple of years. Nevertheless, even if some investors are expecting some great potential growth of the economy in 2024, there are still many investors that see 2024 as being a potential recession year. The good news, however, is that many analysts believe that it is unlikely to happen throughout 2024. For instance, the analysts of JP Morgan are expecting the global economy to slowly start to slow down, but they are not expecting any kinds of recession anytime soon. In fact, even if they are expecting that the first half of 2024 should see some slight decrease of the overall growth, they still forecast that the second half of this year should see some great growth of the overall economy. And in total, they estimate the probability of having a recession to about 25%. According to them, the worst could be potentially all behind us. But when we take a look at the overall stock market return throughout the last year, we've seen that in 2023, the stock market has returned about 25%. This represents about double the total return that it has been historically able to achieve, which is about 11% per year. And even if we know that the stock market isn't correlated with the overall global economy, as we've seen throughout the pandemic, where it has been exploding in terms of value, well, I still think that the stock market could see a slight decrease and correction in 2024. Nevertheless, I don't think that it will correct as much as it did in 2022, but on the upper end, while we know that many tech companies have gained a lot of value over the last 4 years, well, we've seen that it hasn't been the case for many other sectors of the economy. One of them being the oil companies and the energy sector as a whole, with companies such as Enbridge and Pembina that hasn't had the best 2023. Add to this, the hikes of the interest rates have obviously had a certain impact overall on the performance of many companies, notably the ones that have a lot of debt. But when we come back to the oil companies example, when we know that the oil price will be correlated with the overall inflation, and when we know that the inflation usually restarts to grow when there are potential of a slowdown of the hikes of the interest rate, this could indicate some massive potential of upside for these type of companies over the next couple of months and years. But as an investor, you all know that it isn't the best type of strategy to try to time the market and to predict what will happen in the future, because it has been proven in the past that someone that will stay invest in the market will be able to outperform the one that is trying to predict what will happen in the future. However, when it comes to my own individual strategy, when I know that I have a lot of different stocks in my portfolio that still represents quite an important part of my total assets, and knowing that I'll need to have quite a little bit of liquidity to invest in my real estate property over the next couple of months, it is why, after making some interesting gains on certain of these companies over the last 4 years, I've decided to trim certain of these positions in my overall portfolio. I've decided to opt for this approach because at the beginning, when I first started to invest only in individual companies, I've actually realized that the best strategy that I could do on the long term was to mainly invest in different exchange trade funds. And so it is why, with all the liquidity that I'll generate from all of these transactions, I'll be directly reinvesting it into different different ETFs. This will give me a great low cost effective way to reduce the overall risk of my portfolio by also potentially outperforming the overall market. And at the same time, since I won't have as much time as I had in the past with my new real estate project, it will give me a better way to invest on the long term. At the same time, while we've seen that many companies have gained a lot of value over the last couple of years, it makes that 2024 might be quite harsh on the market for individual stock investors that will try to find what are the most undervalued companies right now. And so it is why I believe that ETFs are the best approach for me personally to invest for the long term on the overall market. At the same time, by investing in ETFs such as cash that are giving great monthly income distribution with no risk, this will help me to fuel all my future real estate projects. In fact, many of you might already know that at the end of 2023, I've purchased my first triplex, and so I'll need to make a few renovations on it, notably where in the summer I'll need to repair my roof. Plus in July, I'll also move in one of my units, which means that I will also lose one of the cash flow from this real estate property, but at the same time I'll also have many different expenses that will be linked to this new action. It is why I want to be sure to have enough liquidity to be able to cover all my different expenses throughout 2024, and to do so I've decided to make a new budget to help me with this task, notably to be able to make more money, but most importantly to also save a lot more money. And with all the saving surplus that I'll be able to generate month after month, I'll be able to reinvest it straight into different ETFs that I have great confidence on the long term. For example, an ETF like VAV or VQT are two big winners in my case. Now, when it comes to my crypto portfolio for 2024, I'll try to keep my maximum allocation ratio of 5% of my total assets invest in it. In fact, since the security is super volatile, I don't want to put too much of my eggs in one basket, because if I put too much of my money in it, well, I have some potential big losses that could come from it. But on the upper end, if I put just a little bit of money in it and that it grow exponentially, well, it will help me to massively increase my overall net worth. However, after the banning of Binance in Canada, I'll need to find a new online broker to help me to stake my different crypto, because in fact, staking a crypto is pretty much the same as having a savings account at your bank, but with the difference that your APY is way more interesting than what the bank is offering you. And finally, for my YouTube business, I have one big project that should come out this autumn and that should help many different investors. But while waiting for this project to come out, as always, I'll come out with some great weekly financial videos on different subjects of the financial economy. At the moment, if you've seen my YouTube video on my total earnings and income that I've been able to generate throughout my first year of being monetized on YouTube, well, you can see that this isn't the best lucrative side hustle for me at the moment. But my payday isn't necessarily about all the money that I'm able to generate from this platform, but more about the great positive comments of people that I've been able to help with my different videos. On the upper end, to be able to generate a lot of income, I still have one great full-time job as well as another interesting part-time job. And so these two jobs will help me and have been able to help me in the past to fuel all my future investment projects. And so that's pretty much my investing plan for 2024. To summarize it, in this new year, I'll be investing the large majority of my liquidity in my new real estate project. And with my new budgeting, I'll be able to generate a certain surplus of money that will be directly reinvested in great quality ETFs for the long term. So the advantage of it is that my real estate cash flow will be able to cover my full mortgage as well as a certain portion of my total insurance. And my two jobs and my side hustle will help me to fuel my daily cost as well as my future investment projects. In total, in 2024, my objective is to be able to invest at least 15% of my total annual income in great ETF, stocks, and crypto. So at the end of the year, I'll share with you my full results on whether or not I've been able to fulfill this objective. But now on your side, if you're looking to find what are the best investment vehicles to grow your net worth as much as possible for the future, well, check out the video that's gonna be right over here, and I will see you soon. Peace!